Take it from there.
All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I would like to call the meeting back to order. Oh, there we go. Tonight, Ramona High School is our featured school, so would our site administrator please come forward and start our meeting? Excellent, thank you.
Remove all hats. Hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All
Mr.
right.
Newman never used to get those kind of applause.
I know, right? Okay, so we did just come from closed session. There was no action taken in that meeting. We will be returning to closed session after and expect no action at that time either. We do have one board member not physically present tonight. We have Roger Dome, who is on the road and with us by phone. Roger, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, Roger's there. Let's see, instructions for addressing the governing board, and that's usually Roger's gig, but tonight we have Darren stepping up. Thank you, Darren.
Absolutely. Good evening. The Ramona Unified School District welcomes your participation in the district's school board meetings. Your participation assures us of continuing community interest in our schools. To assist you in the ease of speaking and or participating in our meetings, the following guidelines are provided. Orange request to be heard cards are available to all audience members who wish to speak on any agenda item and or under the category of item E, which is public comment. These presentations are limited to 3 minutes per person or 15 minutes per item. I will be the timekeeper. Please submit your completed orange cards to the board's recording secretary in advance of the item presentation. Orange requests to be heard cards will not be accepted once the agenda item has commenced. Speakers are asked to direct all comments to members of the board. All participants are asked to be respectful of other speakers when they are addressing the board. Public comment is set aside for members of the audience to raise issues that are not specifically on the agenda. These presentations are limited to 3 minutes per person or 15 minutes per item. Public comments may be submitted online at the link listed on the top of the agenda. Please note that electronically submitted comments will be printed and distributed to the board members and will not be read aloud during the meeting.
Thank you very much. We are now on item C5, and that's approval of the agenda. Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roger?
Aye.
Thank you. We are now on item C6. That's approval of the consent calendar.
I'll move approval.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye for me.
Okay, very good. We are now on section D, and that is recognitions and presentations. And as announced earlier, item D1 is a showcase of Ramona High School. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you all for having us tonight. We're excited to showcase one of the programs that we run at Ramona High School. Oh, yes, please. Test. One of the programs that we run at Ramona High School, which is called Ready to Learn. As you can see, we like the acronyms like all of the rest of the acronyms that come out of RUSD. And so the Ready to Learn program, just a little bit, and then these guys are really who are going to talk about the program, has been at Ramona High School for about the past 18 years. It's a program that was started by Loretta Middleton, and she brought it to San Diego County Office of Ed. And I was actually fortunate enough to participate in her program in San Bernardino County before I came to Ramona. So just coming here and the program coming here was very beneficial for me because I got to go through training twice. And what Ready to Learn does for us, what our goal of Ready to Learn, is to provide services for RHS students to improve grades, attendance, and behavior. So we look at all of those things, and how do we help improve those things for students? Our RTL group, is what we do is we run groups on our campus. We might run recovery groups, we run insight groups, self-esteem, grief, and it's really about, keeping kids in school. This group of kids right here that are with me today have just recently gone through training to be peer mentors with Ready to Learn. And I'm going to let Mr. Plum talk a little bit more about the program.
Thank you. So Ready to Learn is one of the great programs we have because we have students helping students, and it's exponential impact. It's one thing when a counselor talks to a student, it's a whole nother ball game when you have students sharing their personal stories and kids listen. We know one of the biggest influences on teenagers are teenagers themselves. And what's great about it is these young ladies and young men have overcome obstacles and they're sharing life experiences. What's really refreshing is that they use the skills to be resilient. They're going to talk real quick about some of their experiences and the impact and the reason why they are peer mentors.
All right, so first question that I would like for you guys to answer to the board is, what is the reason that you applied to be a peer mentor? And please introduce yourself first.
Hello, I'm Audie O'Neill. I'm a junior at Ramona High School, and I wanted to be a peer counselor because I think it's really important. It can be really hard to get through school and get through life if you're going through other stuff and you don't feel like you have anyone to talk to. Being able to have someone to reach out so that problems aren't your main thing on your mind at school, getting stuff done can be really helpful.
Hello, I'm Chris Dufresne. I am also an 11th grader in Ramona High School, and I joined peer counseling because handling home life, school life, and keeping up a well mental state can be draining for teenagers when they don't have enough skills to build off of. So I want to be there to help them and build up that mental state.
Hi, I'm Owen Wyndham, another junior at Ramona High School, and I decided to apply to be a peer mentor because going into sophomore year, I struggled with my mental health, and I saw how RHS handled that, and it really helped me. And growing from that, I wanted to be on the other side of it and continue to help other students.
Hello, I'm Ismail Galvan, and I'm also a junior from Ramona High School, and I applied to be a peer counselor. And the main reason why I wanted to be a peer counselor is because for me personally, overcoming family issues is a big problem for students nowadays with divorce, and it really impacts their schoolwork, and it could really, RTOs helped me overcome those problems, and it's really a useful tool, and I would really like to show those other students those tools. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Carey. I'm also a junior at Ramona High School. And the main reason I decided to apply to be a peer counselor was because 3 months ago, I lost one of my childhood best friends to suicide. And when I realized how common of occurrence this was, I decided I didn't want to let it happen to anyone else near me again, not when I could do something to stop it. Thank you.
What skills did you bring the RHS students to support them? What skills, now that you've gone through training, how are you going to help students?
Some skills we've learned through the training that we've gone through, we've learned a lot about the mental state of students and how they switch back and forth between different mental states. And I find it really interesting that we learned how to navigate through them and help them move up rather than down.
What we learned is that we could also identify when a student is when they're happy, sad, or like in the anger stage. And it really helps us identify and see what we could do to help that student.
In our training, we saw not how to fix other students' problems, but how to give them tools to fix their own problems so they can navigate difficult situations in the future. And so we saw how to interact with them, how to be open, how to just be a good listener, and provide insights that they can find their own resolve for certain things.
We learned how to read other peers, and with reading them, you can really see what's going on the inside rather than what they're presenting. And that can be a really big help on your influence on them.
Building off what Owen said, I think the most important job that we have is acting as a resource for the other students. It's not our job to fix their problems. We're just here to help them and help them get through theirs.
What do you feel your impact on RHS is going to be?
I think that we can have a lot of impact at RHS. I know, like, a lot of people at our school are doing good. They're passing, they have friends, but there's also a lot of people that are kind of invisible that we don't really know their problems. So I hope that we can reach out to most students and help anyone we can.
There are a lot of students that are struggling, like Adi said, that we don't know what they're going through, how to help them just yet, but once we really get in there, I'm sure that we can help make a big difference.
I think that if, like me personally, if I can make a connection with just one student, or just get one student to be attending more classes or just be more active at RHS, then I've achieved my goal. I think that focusing on the individual student at a time will make the biggest impact of all, because like Mr. Plum mentioned, if we connect with one student, they'll connect with another, and it'll just grow.
I feel like we could really connect with the student, if you really share a part of yourself and be honest with them. I feel like to recover from the past, you have to forgive yourself. So I feel like if they forgive themselves too, they could do better in life.
I think it's really, our job as peer counselors is really important to the school because we offer an opportunity to students that normally they wouldn't have. We offer a system of support that they wouldn't see throughout other peers who may not have gone through the same training, and ultimately we are a pillar for them, a shoulder for them to cry on, and an ear to listen to.
So right now, after this training, this is the first time we've had a peer mentor since pre-COVID. Things were kind of on hold for training with our students, so this is our first group back which we're really excited for them. They're going to start their one-on-ones. We have students who just need a one-on-one peer. They're going to start with that, and they'll also be participating in groups with our counselors. We have 2 counselors that will run a group. They'll have 2 mentors in the group, and they run about 12 to 14 kids through a group in about 10, 12 weeks, a session. Do you have any questions for my kids? They did great tonight.
This isn't really, well, I guess it is a question. How can we help you? Because I really want to tell you that I think what you're doing is meaningful. I think what you're doing is impactful. And how can we support you as a district, and how can the superintendent support you in your mission?
Okay. So after our initial training, we're going to have bi-monthly meetings where we check up, we learn a little bit more because we only had a couple big sessions. But then after going through it a couple times, we decided we did need more, more experience. So we switched it to once a week. And I think we're going to get the experience ourselves helping other students. The only way to learn is to do it. But yeah, openness would be nice.
Just acceptance and support, and maybe if other schools were aware that something like this is going on in high school, that the kids going into the high school will have something to go to or some people to rely on.
As I kind of mentioned, I think this is a very personal thing, and so I don't know how necessarily we could be helped, because our campus administrators are very gracious in letting us have the trainings that are required and getting us in the groups and with one-on-one counseling. But I think that just general support and encouraging this program. But yeah, I think of it as more of a personal thing.
I feel like Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest, but I feel like just support and then just encouraging us to help people's lives would really change them, and doing that would really make them something that they really never thought they'd be. And yeah.
Like everyone else said, I think support is very important. But another thing I think that would help a lot is maybe a lot of these problems that students have tend to stem from home problems. So I think it'd be really important to also educate parents on what's going on. Maybe not strictly exactly what's happening within school when things are strictly confidential between a peer counselor and a student, but maybe parents should also be made aware of how their actions can affect people. And through your guys' support, maybe we can achieve that.
Well, I can tell you our email addresses are on the website. Please feel free to use them. Feel free to use mine. And I'll bet you they're all thinking the same thing I am. But if they're, I put you on the spot here tonight. If you think of something 2 weeks from now, feel free to say, I was thinking maybe this would help. And don't go around these folks because they're really your biggest supporters, and we're their biggest supporters. So please, if you guys feel a need, I'm behind you 100%, and it looks like they are too.
Yeah, I'd like to say that you're juniors in high school, but your maturity and your intuitive nature is far beyond your years. I'm very impressed, and what I'm most impressed with is that you're willing to use your own personal experiences to help your fellow students. It's a wonderful program, and I'm blown away. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. So this was fantastic. I love meeting these students, and they're exactly who I would want to go to, and maybe I will. Yeah. Maybe I will. But is there a way maybe that the board could get an update later in the school year about how the program went and what these students experienced? You know, if they found value in their participation.
Definitely. Like I said, we track our students, all the students that we meet with. This is also part of our other means of correction. It's at the top of the list when we're dealing with kids every day. RTL is at the top, and we start there.
I've heard RTL for a long time. I didn't know that this was it or a part of it. Yeah, that is just fantastic. Now, is everyone a junior?
Yes.
So is this typically a junior recruitment position?
Yep. So we have them for 2 years, and then hopefully we add another group next year, so we double our group. But again, like I said, COVID's put us on that hiatus, so we're just bringing it back.
Well, thank you so much. Just when I thought I knew most things about Ramona High, you brought us something new. Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Brooke, I just wanted to thank you all again. And can I ask how many total are there of our folks from the pictures? There, 15 total. Right. Okay.
Wow.
So Cabinet got to crash one of your trainings, and we just stood in the back there, but it got me choked up watching you, and I explained a little bit about being an instructional organization, that all that is so important. We spend so much time and energy on that. But what you're providing is what's necessary before any of that can begin. And so we are so grateful for you making that connection that we can't do as the adults in the organization. So your training, your time, your commitment, and the investment you're making into your colleagues, students in the district are just we're absolutely grateful to all of you for your passion and your motivation, and for those folks on campus that are leading you through this. So thank you very, very much, every single one of you.
Right. Thank you. Well, that was
good.
Really great to hear about. Just, yeah. I mean, I feel good just hearing what they're doing. Okay, we're now on item D3, D2, and that's report from our solo student board member tonight. Thank you for being here.
Good evening. My name is Claire Scanlon. I'm the representative for MVA High School. Thank you, Dr. Thurman, President Perfect, board, and cabinet members for allowing me to speak today. To start off, the fall dance, which was on October 13th, was a big success with 50% participation of our high school students. ASB sponsored a spooky karaoke night last Friday, which also went well. Tie-dye night on October 28th, hosted by PTSA, an event where elementary and high school students could tie-dye clothing. Many high schoolers from MVA ASB also volunteered at this event. We also introduced an 8th grade student council. They are planning to have a Thanksgiving feast and a blacklight themed dance. SNHS, which is Science National Honor Society, recently went to a cleanup event hosted by I Love Clean San Diego in Fallbrook, where they learned about protecting waterways and the environment. The Dungeons & Dragons Club has recurring meetings on Wednesdays and welcomes students 8 through 12. Next, some winter holiday events are defrosting. MVA is planning to have a holiday-themed movie night on December 8th. Comfy clothes are encouraged. And to make sure that our students are the most comfortable for finals, we have an MVA Pajama Day on December 15th. That is it. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your evening.
That all sounds great. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well.
Okay. Item D3, that's a report from California School Employee Association, Chapter 733. I don't. Okay. No report tonight. That's fine. Thank you. Next is a report from Ramona Teachers Association.
Sorry. So Corey's out of town, so you get me. Sorry about that. Hi, everybody.
Happy to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So just a few things that are going on that we haven't already heard about that we wanted to share with y'all. Some pretty cool stuff's going on at OPMS. Their advanced band had a coffee concert last week where family and friends got to come in and watch them rehearse and preview their winter show. So I guess they got the insight on that one. They are also doing a weekly broadcast in Spanish with announcements for both parents and students. It's live streamed over YouTube every Wednesday, and the anchors for the show most recently dressed in dress shirts and sombreros and had their faces painted for Dia de los Muertos. Sorry, I'm a white girl, what can I say? The weekly show often includes guest appearances by Assistant Principal Mr. Pantaleon and Spanish-speaking members of both ASB and NJHS as well. You might want to write this one down, though, for 6th grade over at RE. They are hosting a fundraiser for 6th grade camp, so please consider attending. It's a spaghetti dinner fundraiser. It's Wednesday next week, 11:15 at 5:30 in the cafeteria. Family of 4, $25, so that's pretty good, or $7 for an individual ticket. They're also going to be selling soda and cookies for $1 at dinner, and the students who are going to be going to 6th grade camp are going to be there to serve you, so you might want to put that one on your calendars. The 5th graders at Mount Woodson are planting corn as a part of their science unit that helps them understand the plant life cycle. They also did their first round of STEM paper plate tower challenge. Next Friday they're going to do the next one, so maybe check that out, see how they did with their paper plates. First year teacher at RE, Ms. Powell, is proud to say her kindergarten class is really thriving. They've been partnered with the San Diego Natural Museum Loaner Program, thanks to the community help of Marcy Laws. In their class, they have a skunk. Don't worry, it's stuffed and in a box. Whale bones, bear claws, and a spider. I hope that's in a box, too. Anyway, students love the learning about these animals and creating science lessons, writing in their journal, and even creating CGI problems. The OPMS math team is using vertical whiteboards to get students out of their seats and engaged in the lessons. It's awesome to see all the students actively participating in their learning. And finally, RCC has had a very busy October. They spent their PL day working on MTSS goals. They also had a fun musical assembly of Peter and the Wolf. They have now had 2 successful attendance recesses, rewarding students each month who have 2 or fewer absences or tardies. Next week, the 5th and the 6th graders will be performing their musical Aladdin. And the MVA art classes have been making some fun sculpture projects. And they are looking forward to celebrating their school family veterans at a special flag ceremony this week. So that's just some of the stuff that's going on. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I heard the PTSD comment on the skunk thing. Yeah. Yeah, no, I heard that. I felt the same way. Okay. Thank you very much for that lovely report. Lots of great things happening. And I am intrigued by the paper plate tower. I don't know what that is.
Check out the RTA Facebook page.
Are there
Got some
pictures?
pictures.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, great.
I was awesome, Travis.
I'll check that out. Thank you. Okay, we are now on section E, and that's public comment. I believe I saw a couple of orange cards, Darren.
We have two. First person up is David Patterson. Mr. Patterson, you have 3 minutes, so.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for listening to me. They don't listen to me at home, so it's great to be here. This is regarding a vocational training facility that I've been writing you about, and hopefully everybody got to think about it. I thought tonight I'd tell you about my high school, vocational high school, and it was 3 years, 10th through 12th. And the shops there were auto, electric, electronics, machine shop, sheet metal, and carpentry. The classes alternated. One day was academics and the next day was shop. It would go the whole year like that. In my class, 1970, had 72 graduates, the largest group ever to graduate from that school. But all 72 of us, prior to that going there, were failing in high school, and probably would not have graduated high school at all had we not had the opportunity. But someone, or some many actually, had a vision. And that vision was that these kids could make something of themselves given the opportunity of vocational training. So they built a school and they staffed it with dedicated people. This was their gift to us. Even, even better, all 72 of us that I can tell were able to graduate high school, some go on to other schools, raise families, put their kids through school, some through college, and give back to the community. Sorry. There's your evidence that vocational training works. When you're 100% in any kind of program is worth looking into. So I sit here as a recipient and of that gift, thank you, and I hope that you will consider doing the same for our kids at Ramona High. Please consider building a vocational training facility at Ramona High School. You build it, the kids will come. And it'll be a legacy that you will never regret. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Michelle Jones.
Hi, Liel Michelle Jones, actually. So I'm just coming here to give my update on Splash Ramona. So as we discussed last time, we are have our articles of incorporation. We filed our 501(c) paperwork, and we're growing our community, which is working towards getting a community pool built for Ramona. And an aquatic center for, a multi-generational aquatic center. So now we have a website, which is splashramona.com, and an email, support@splashramona.com. Additionally, we are now meeting the third Wednesday of every month, and looking for a location. So if anybody has a location available, we could use one for our nonprofit. And in those meetings, obviously, what we want to do is, organize ourselves and the community that we're building and our committee that we're building in order to accomplish this rather large goal that we've set for ourselves. So our next meeting is actually going to be next week, Wednesday the 15th at the Ramona Flight Training Center. So if anybody wants to attend, it's going to be a really cool location. We additionally have our first fundraising event, which is coming up. Marinade on Main has been so generous to provide us our very first charity, fundraising event location, and it's going to be on Giving Tuesday. So the Tuesday after Thanksgiving on the 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. They're going to have a few dishes that are kind of going to be put aside for Splash Ramona in order for us to raise funds for our nonprofit. And additionally, we are also going to be at the, we're going to be vending at the Ramona tree lighting ceremony. I have a dog treat business, and we've made some really special treats in order to sell those, and a large percentage of the sales of those will go back to our charity. So we're trying to find, creative ways to, be in the community, to be able to raise funds for this really important cause, and we hope that you guys will support us and join us along the way. And next time we will be on the agenda. We missed the cutoff this time, but we'll do it next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we're now on section F, Education Services, and our next item to address is F3, and that's a presentation of the 2023 Williams Settlement Annual District Visit Summary for Ramona Elementary.
Thank you, President Perfect and Governing Board. California Ed Code requires that the Sandy County Office of Ed staff visit schools who are designated as CSI or ATSI. CSI stands for Comprehensive School Support and Improvement, and ATSI is the Additional Targeted Support and Improvement. In Ramona Unified, Ramona Elementary is in ATSI for students with disabilities and participated in the Williams Settlement Visit on September 5th, 2023. Both site and district leadership worked diligently to ensure Ramona Elementary was prepared to receive the visiting team. And Chris Gunnett, principal, who's here tonight and will share briefly, principal of Ramona Elementary, is with us tonight to share the findings. Thank you, Mr. Gunnett.
Board President, board members, Dr. Thurman, thank you for having me here. I think you all have a little handout that I've provided for you. On September 5th, we did have a team of 4 members from the county office come and do the Williams Settlement Finding Site visit. And there were the 4 major areas that, back at Ramona Elementary is an ATSI, instructional materials, school facilities, uniform complaint procedures, and our school accountability report card. And I'm here to say that it was a very successful visit. It was conducted almost a full 3 hours with a team of 4 members. 2 of those members were looking more on the instructional side of our school, where they went into a representative grade level from TK all the way to 6, where they looked at the instructional materials for all of the students. 1, making sure that every student had access to the materials, and 2, that all of those materials were on our board approved list for the elementary level. They also, the other team of 2 members traveled through the school with Matt Hudson and Robert Huffman, and looking on the facilities side of things. And as you can see here from the handout that I've provided for you, 8 different categories, ranging from interior, cleanliness, safety, structural, and I've also provided you the overall score for each of those areas. It's about a 9-page fit report, as they call it, where they went into every single classroom, every single office, every single closet, every single restroom, and diligently looked up and down the campus to do that facilities piece. And after our successful visit on September 5th, 2 weeks later, we did receive the facilities report with its findings there, and everything from good. There are several areas that were poor. I just kind of wanted to give you a little background on what those are. Specifically wrapped up with a roof. I mean, we are close. We are days away from what I understand, and that was a lot. There was a lot of stains, and just because of the rain and the roofs. Carpet and floor worn or damaged. Again, being an older site, and also it does get heavily used. It also is summer school each and every summer, so it does get used more days than some of our other elementary partners. In regards to electrical, some loose conduit or loose plates. Again, being that it's an older site, a lot of the electric is on the outside, as you can see here. Those racetracks and so forth just don't attach quite as well as they do in this initial construction, where they're attached to the studs and so forth. It's structurally stronger that way. And then also around the restrooms, again, just loose fixtures. Again, with the retrofit, you always have better construction when it's first new and it's anchored initially. So I just kind of wanted to give you a brief background of a successful visit, and if you had any questions for me, I would be willing to.
Okay. Any questions?
But I have a couple comments, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming here tonight. Thank you for taking on the task of going to the school that you went to as a child, knowing that it's an older facility, and it looks like we've got some work to do. Is this 78.6? Is that on a scale of 100?
Yes, sir.
So we're strong C. Which is not where we want to be.
No.
And I'm not trying to admonish staff at all. I think staff has made some great strides in finding the funding to put on a new roof, and we got a good rating in cleanliness, which is really important. Taking care of those things that we can take care of, and that your staff and the site staff can take care of. So that's good to know. But we've struggled with this, and I want to do better. I want to do better for all the kids that go to each one of our schools. That's our oldest site. And I know that we have many demands for every dollar. And we stretch every dollar as much as we can. But man, I want to figure out a way, and I don't know what it is, but I want to figure out a way to do better than a strong C. Thank you very much, and it's important that we know about these things, because if we don't know about it, we can't entertain an opportunity to fix it. So.
And I've received nothing but support from Dr. Kutterman, Melissa and her department, custodial and Rick and Mason. We do have the roof coming on. We've got grass growing again, the solar panels. So we are turning the page. We are going to make this with the hard work. I'm seeing improvement already in the first 10 weeks.
And that's, those things that you and your staff can do are fantastic, but some of the things you can't do. We got poor on electrical. I really want us to be better, and I know we're doing really well, but we can do better than a strong C. So thank you for coming tonight.
All right. Anyone else? Thank you very much. We don't need to clap each time. All right, we are now on, what are we on? Yes, F4, and that is approval of revised instructional minutes for TK. And we have a handout about this, right?
Yes, we have some corrected instructional minutes there on the highlighted one
you.
for kinder lunch there on the minimum day. So, President Perfect and Governing Board, in June, you approved the instructional minutes for all school sites for our TK program. Those minutes included a shift for our youngest learners, TK students, to a half day. So since then, Ed Services have worked diligently to weigh the needs of our students, listening to the voice of all our families, and working closely with our TK teachers and site administrators. And we're recommending a shift back to a full-day program after winter break, which would start on January 8th, 2024. The recommended modifications meet the state requirement for minimum instructional minutes, as you'll see in the agenda item. The recommendation is to improve the instructional minutes as presented.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions about this?
So a question, I noticed that full day TK in, for example, in Hanson has no 0 minutes for recess. Is it intentional?
There is recess time, 0 minutes, there's for the minimum day, and so there's recess time coupled with the lunch time. That's the 45 minutes total, but we record those under lunch on a minimum day because it's short. So there's just there's a recess time coupled together. The time bleeds right into lunch, so we just have that as a 45-minute lunch on a minimum day.
Also, for those parents, I understand the survey did not show that 100% of parents want full day. Majority, vast majority. But can we allow parents that do want to pick up their children after half day, or can they, or they can't?
Parents can come and pick up their children throughout the day, yes. Yeah, it's not something we recommend on a regular basis because they're missing the curricular program, but yeah, the vast majority of our parents surveyed, we had a significant return rate from those parents who are participating currently, and they definitely had many reasons for really preferring that full day program.
So parents want to pick up their children at half day every day, they can?
I think that's possible. They'll still be missing some significant time in the class. It would be same impact as pulling them out of any grade at the time, but they're always welcome to do that. Yeah.
Any other questions? And we only have 2 schools here. Is that we only offer TK at these 2 schools?
No, sorry. All of the other instructional minutes are in the in your
so
agenda.
this is just
These
an
2 were the
update to
changes.
what
2
was
of
here.
them on the
Okay.
highlighted
Very
were
good.
mistakes that Mrs. Phillips helped
I
us
see. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent.
Don, I have a quick comment.
Yes.
I'd like to thank staff for reaching out to the community and finding out what their wishes are and what their needs are, and being willing to adapt mid-year when it was such an overwhelming number of people who really wanted to go to full days. Mrs. Samantha Thacker, I believe, was here last meeting, and boy, this is some pretty responsive government. If we were able to put that kind of effort into it so quickly, and it was overwhelming in the number of people who wanted to go back to TK, and you know, we need to partner with parents, and if they tell us that something that they want and we can do it without retooling the entire program, I think it's incumbent upon us to do that. So having said that, thank you to staff for being so willing to relook or take a second look at this, and having said that, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Very good. I agree with you, Darren. I think it was fine to give it a try, the way we structured it, but when it's not working, why stick with the thing that's not working for most? So, all right. Any other comments or questions before I call it?
I would just like to thank Ed Services, led by Leslie Wilson, who couldn't be here tonight. I'm filling in for her because she kind of brought up the concerns that she was hearing some things in cabinet, and then structured a survey, got it out, got the results back, and moved on this quickly with her team. So they did some amazing work here in being responsive and making change.
And the date of implementation?
Starting January 8th, 2024.
Thank you. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Very good. That's unanimous. Unanimous. Thank you. All right, moving to section G, Human Resources. Item G2, initial proposal from Ramona Teachers Association to Ramona Unified School District for 2023-2024 reopening of negotiations.
First, I must say I've never seen Ed Services go so quickly without Leslie here. Just a note. I told her I was going to make note of that. For Human Resources, we have the initial proposal from the Ramona Teachers Association to the district. This is the sunshining of their proposal. They will be opening 4 articles: teaching hours, benefits, salary, and leaves. This is informational item for the board.
Thank you. All right, Thank you very much for that information, brief as it was. All right, item G3 is a public hearing on the initial proposal from RTA to RUSD for the 2023-2024 reopening of negotiations. Public hearing is now open, and that means that anybody can come forward, even if you have not submitted an orange speaker slip, and speak to the board on this topic. Okay, I got excited. I saw movement, but no. All right. Public hearing is now closed. Thank you. We are now on item G4, and that's approval of short-term staff permit, special education teacher.
Members of the board, Diana Cervantes is a paraeducator at Ramona High School who is pursuing a teaching credential. She works currently in a special education setting and wants to move into the teaching, and so we're working with her in a program, and we're asking for the board to approve her to have a short-term staff permit so that we could potentially hire her. She'd be eligible for hire for one of our open sped positions.
Thank you. Okay, this is an action item.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Thank you. We are now on item G5. That's approval of tentative agreement between RUSD and RTA, September 25th, 2023, related to updating and cleanup language of the contract.
Members of the board, the district sat with RTA leadership and went through the entire contract page by page, updating it. There were some spelling errors. There were other items that needed to be updated from previous years, things in the appendices moved to the contract, and so we agreed to do that together. It was a productive 2 days. These are the changes. We're asking the board to approve that so that the contract can be finalized and updated for all involved.
Thank you. Board, do you have any questions about this? It is an action item.
I just want to thank staff and RTA for getting together and taking this task on, because 2 days is a lot of time, a lot of staff time, a lot of time for them, but it's a worthy cause to make sure that we're doing it right. So thank you, staff, and with that, I'll move to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. And Darren, I completely agree and was figuring I'd say the same thing right there at the end. I'm embarrassed to hear that there were spelling errors and things that needed cleaning up to that degree, but thank you very much for taking that on. All right, item G6, that's approval on uniform complaint quarterly report, Williams case complaints.
As the board is aware, we're required quarterly to bring to the board information about any complaints that have been filed under the uniform complaint procedures, as well as Williams case. You'll see on the next page, for the time period of July 1st to September 30th, we have 0 official complaints filed.
0 official complaints is very good, thank you. This is an action item.
I move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, that's unanimous. Moving to section H, Administrative Services, our next item to address is H4, approval of resolution number 2023-2024-5, sale of bus to Julian Union High School District.
Good evening, Governing Board. Education Code 17546 authorizes our board to sell at a public or private sale any personal property belonging to the district that is no longer needed for school purposes. We have a bus that is 23 years old. It's a model year 2000 with over 176,000 miles on it and is no longer considered viable for transportation of our students. It was approved as a surplus item at our October 12th board meeting. Our transportation team has determined that it is in the best interest of our district to sell the bus to Julian Union High School District for the amount of $2,499, as they have been renting it from us and they could still use it. We ask the board to approve this resolution for the sale of the bus to Julian Union High School District.
Thank you. Any questions about this? Would anyone like to move approval?
I move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, so we no longer rent it to them, we sell it to them, and then they bring their stuff here for maintenance? Yes. Okay,
Mhm.
great.
They keep us busy.
It sounds like a good working relationship.
Mhm.
Excellent. Item H5, approval to award bid for roofing project at Hanson Elementary, project bid number 2024-3.
Members of the board, I say we, but I'm super excited about this. I think Mr. Gunnett is as well. To move forward on replacing Hanson Elementary's leaking roof. That has been a concern for many years. We will be going forward with replacing 41,000 square feet of failed asphalt roofing material. The contractor will leave the existing R30 insulating material and asphalt and will utilize a 1/2-inch cover board to create a new foundation for the membrane roof application. This system will have a 30-year system warranty and a 5-year contractor warranty. We ask the board to approve the award to award bid number 2024-3 for the roofing project at Hanson Elementary to C&I Roofing Company in the amount of $306,851.
Okay, thank you. That's a lot of money, but a much needed repair.
Yes.
It seems like that roof's had trouble since the school was built. Is that accurate?
Yes.
It's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
What's the time frame for, with the rainy season upon us, what is the time frame for repairing the roof?
Getting it as soon as this, replacing, as soon as this gets approved, we can start on it. This is actually the same contractor that's doing our other roofing jobs right now. They're almost done with Ramona Elementary. They are almost done with the I-wing at the high school within the next week. They already started at OPMS, and then they'll shift right over to Hanson. They're fast.
I move to approve.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'll second.
One question. So, how disruptive are these roof repairs and replacements during the school year? And do we try and do it during breaks? Very?
We try to do it during breaks.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks.
I'm concerned to hear the same contractor, this one, just knowing then.
It's
you
the
know,
nature of the work,
schedule.
doing it, and that's something we have worked with all the administrators at the school, trying to figure out the best timing for it, seeing what they're doing for testing. So we'll try to do it as least disruptive as possible. So we'll work with Mr. Rogers over there.
Okay. So,
I have a question.
yes, Roger.
My question with C&I Roofing has to do with the fact that they're so much lower than everybody else. Have you looked into their past work and, just their follow-through, and if they are going to do change orders on us and it'll end up being more in the end?
So we've had a great track record with them already on what they've been doing. And part of the bid process, the contractors actually have to submit their prior jobs to us, and we can look through that. It's all part of their bid packet.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, you said they're doing Ramona Elementary, the I-wing at the high school, they're getting ready to start on
They
the,
started on OPMS this week
Nice.
already.
okay,
Mhm.
and we're happy with them so far, correct?
Yeah. Mr. Gunnett can attest, and so can Mrs. Rodriguez, that I go to the school sites weekly, bi-weekly, checking on it. Our maintenance manager does as well. We talk to the superintendent of the contractors on the phone, in person. We get daily updates on it with pictures.
Wow.
So, the communication is amazing. When there's been problems, we've shifted. We've been able to change their working schedule if needed for some days because it was disrupting some testing. So they're great to work with.
Boy, that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm. I'm up on top of the roofs talking to them, seeing what they're doing.
So,
Very
they're
confident.
doing multiple school sites simultaneously?
Mhm.
They have enough crew to do
Yes.
that,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
they can add this one in?
Yep.
And did I hear you say you're up on the roofs?
All the time.
Nice.
All the time.
Our assistant superintendent up there.
Yeah,
All the
pretty good.
time, yeah.
Hands-on, very good.
That's why I wear boots most of the time.
Right.
You never know.
So
Have you been up on the roof, Brian?
I made him get up on the roof. I did.
I think they make drones for that now.
Right?
They don't have to-
But it's not the same. It's not the same.
Okay.
We have a motion, and a second.
We do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, that's unanimous. All right, we are now on item H6, that's approval of ASB budgets for school sites for the 2023-2024 school year.
All right, members of the board, each year the projected budgets for the associated student body, as we refer to as ASB programs, are presented to the board for approval. These budgets have been prepared with the oversight of our district's finance department to ensure their accuracy and reasonableness, and will be monitored throughout the year to ensure that they are within accepted standards. Tonight, we ask the board to approve the ASB budgets for the 23-24 school year.
All right, thank you. Or do you have any questions before we move forward with this? No? No comments?
Well, wait a minute.
Okay.
On Hanson Elementary, they have a beginning bank balance of $7,800 and something dollars. That's what they already have in the bank. They already have that. So we're going to add to that with the budgetary process. Okay. And you're going to add how much? Help me with that.
This is their ASB, so
Yes.
they do fundraisers and activities with their money.
Yes.
So they raise some money and they spend some money.
Okay.
And it's all a projection of what they think they're planning to do for the year. And it can change. I mean, it has changed through the year. Sometimes they plan an event, it doesn't happen. But all the school site ASB, there's a person at each of the school site that monitors their budget. They do a bank reconciliation, and they send those reconciliations over to our finance department on a monthly basis. And we actually enter their information into our financial system for transparency when we do our reporting cycles, and you've seen it come up as Fund 08. So it's in there.
So it looks like they made money this year.
They've been doing better. After COVID, it was a slow recovery for a lot of the ASB.
All right, very good. Thank you.
So what's happening at RCS? It looks like they're just closing their account. No ASB activity, or do they have a different account? Are they doing it a different
Dr.
way?
Gunderson, I actually am not 100% sure exactly. I usually know when they're closing their account. I can follow up on that one.
Sure, that would be great. I mean, I'm fine with approving what we have before us tonight, but I'm just wondering what's happening with their, are they not having ASB this year maybe, or I don't know what?
I'm looking around, no.
That would be
I
my
will follow up.
question.
I will follow up in a board update on that
Okay,
one.
very good. The only entry here is just closing the account, so. Okay. And we get audited with these, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, very good. This is an action item. Would anyone like to move action?
I'll second.
I think you're the first.
Oh, I thought you said you were.
No, you're the first.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Move approval, okay.
You have a second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, that carries unanimously. All right, we're now on section H7, which sounds really lovely. Approval of acceptance of gifts.
These are always my last two favorite items. Members of the board, Mountain Valley Academy is very appreciative to have received a gift of 22 desk chairs from Sony Electronics. We ask the board to approve the acceptance of this gift.
Okay, thank you.
Move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 That carries unanimously. Thank you very much, and thank you to Sony for that generous donation. We are now on H8, that is approval of acceptance of grants.
Members of the board, our Food and Nutrition Department has been awarded the Child Nutrition Supply Chain Assistance Grant in the amount of $287,687.14. These funds will be used to purchase domestic, unprocessed, or minimally processed food products as part of the effort to strengthen our local food supply chains and help school food nutrition departments overcome financial and operational barriers while maintaining children's access to nutritious meals. We ask the board to approve the acceptance of this grant.
Thank you for that introduction.
Well, I'll approve of that.
Okay. Very good. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Just before we take action, so is this a grant that we've received in the past, or is this something completely new?
This one, there's been several variations of it before. This one, it's new for the year, and then we're going to be receiving another allocation of it again. So we'll be coming back.
In addition to this amount, or as part of this amount?
Not 100% sure.
That's okay. All right, very good. Sounds like a worthwhile way to spend that grant money. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, we are now on section I, district operations, and we have second reading of recommended changes to board policy 5154.5 regarding mental health.
Yes, President Perfect, members of the board, in order to govern effectively, districts are required to have accurate and up-to-date board policies. By law, districts are mandated to adopt many policies to ensure legal compliance. Working in conjunction with the California School Boards Association Policy Services, RUSD continues to update and revise board policies to ensure that RUSD is legally compliant. For the Governing Board review, the Ed Services Department has made all the recommended changes that were brought up at the October 12th board meeting to this particular policy, and they are recommending action on this item. The changes from our last board meeting to this board meeting are highlighted in yellow.
Thank you. I appreciate the highlighted changes. It's much easier to read that way.
I just wanted to comment that our Ramona High School student brought up the concept of needing to forgive oneself, and we added that into this policy.
Yes. Okay, so board, we've had a chance to really review and study this in depth. Are we ready to take action on this? If so, I would entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Thank you, Roger. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions about this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Now we are on, okay, I-2, that's approval of December 14th as the date of the annual organizational meeting of the governing board.
Yes, President Perfect and members of the board, this is an annual task that we must do under direction of the County Office of Education to approve the December 14th board meeting as our annual organizational meeting. So this is simply a approval that we will have an organizational meeting on the 14th, and at the 14th we will go over the 4 areas here. We'll schedule the annual, we'll have the annual meeting. We'll elect the president for the 24 school year. We will, not school year, 24 calendar year. We will elect the clerk and vice president, and then establish the dates, times, and places for the regular meetings of 2024.
So this is a routine item for us. We do this every year, but I've never thought to ask, why is it important that we declare that a date for that activity?
That's a very good question. I think there is an Ed code stipulation. The following page is what we received from SDCOE, from the County Office of Ed, and it goes through all the various details. So as best as I can tell, there's an Ed code that requires us to approve that we're officially having an organizational meeting, and I believe that has to do with having that meeting if board members aren't present to opt in for the president and other things, that it becomes an issue. So I think this early notification is a plan to just make sure it's agendized and well known that the 14th will be the organizational meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. This is an action item. Would anyone like to move approval?
I'll move approval.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That carries unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, the next item is I-3, and that's nominations for the California School Board Association Delegate Assembly. I think everyone knows what that is. I've talked about it a number of times.
I nominate Don Perfect.
Oh, thank you, Roger.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions about this? Concerns? Okay, I'll call it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Am I supposed to vote for myself?
Yes,
voting
you
yes,
better.
It's a
but
little
you-
awkward,
Yeah,
but yes.
If you want it to be unanimous.
Thank you.
Voting comes down.
I
to
really,
this is the
really
nomination.
appreciate
Yes.
that, the confidence that our board has in my ability to serve on the delegate assembly. I enjoy the work and find it valuable. and really fantastic for Ramona Unified to have representation there. So thank you. We are now on item I4, and that's our superintendent's report.
Yes, Governing Board, President Perfect, members of the public, and our community. Just thank you for being here tonight. As we're entering this fall season of gratitude, I want to make sure that I express my appreciation to our entire RUSD community for their work every day. Hearing about the diligent work that's taking place at RHS tonight reminds me of our cabinet visit to Hanson this week as well. Just seeing the commitment from every single staff member. We see this firsthand every week, our classified certificated management staff working very, very hard to serve our students. All of our students that are just right in line academically and behaviorally, and those that are getting a little sideways, students that come to school every day, students that are having trouble coming to school. Our 4-year-old TK students to our 18-year-old students at the high school. Starting with our 6 a.m. bus drivers that start their routes pulling out of our lots, to our custodians who are closing up sites sometimes after 10 p.m. at night, to our admin service staff who sometimes get woken up at 2 a.m. to answer security calls and false alarms. The dedication of our staff is unparalleled, and I know I speak on behalf of our cabinet when I say that we're so grateful to serve along such dedicated humans. Speaking of students and dedicated humans, I wanted to just highlight tonight some of the safety practices and procedures that have been occurring. We've just over the last 4 weeks even had some things come together that we've been working on for a long time. So I'm just going to highlight a few of our key pieces of our security plans here in RUSD. As you know, we've done whole school site evacuations. We have several planned for this school year. Recently had a earthquake drill, the Great Shakeout. We evacuated everyone in about 18 minutes in the whole district and confirmed that with us throughout that experience. Had a safety expert do a hands-on review of all sites, walking the sites with our admin staff, looking at any safety issues. We had additional training in the summer for our site admins, administrative assistants, and custodians to make sure they're all on the same page when any emergency may come up. We had a helicopter tour to identify best practices for identifying district buildings throughout our district, and that we thank the San Diego Sheriffs for that experience and that helpful information that we're identifying now, the right materials to make certain identifying marks and things for our to help our law enforcement partners. Security fencing at almost all school sites, thanks to admin services. They have worked so hard to really work with our communities and making sure that we're having secure fencing and keeping our staff and students safe. Safety supplies for all RUSD classrooms and district office departments. I've talked about this in many places. For us has helped contribute to this. It's very, very rare to have a district where we know and we've able to confirm that every site has the backpacks and the buckets and all the different things that are needed for various safety issues that may come up. I've mentioned before, I've been in a number of districts and everyone's in progress or partially, and we've got a 3-year plan to get those funded. Admin services recognize the need. They put in the effort to identify exactly what was needed. All of our sites worked hard to get into those rooms to figure out what was needed. It's been purchased, it's been distributed, and we're real excited about that piece alone in this whole list. Moving on, Narcan supplies and training. We thank our district nurse. She's really been taking that on to make sure we're stocked and training is ongoing. First aid training coming up. Knox boxes at all sites is an important piece to have in place. And I'd heard when I started that some of our Knox boxes were empty or the Knox boxes were missing. And admin services with Melissa confirmed just this week that all Knox boxes are up with keys inside. So that's just another layer of safety and security for our staff and students. Parking support at OPMS. We have rerouted the buses to help with traffic on Hanson Lane. It's been successful so far. We really appreciate our drivers and the transportation department, OPMS and RHS staff for their help there. Also, we have AEDs at all sites, and that hadn't been the case. So for us, helped us purchase one that we did not have it at Montecito High, so we're excited for that. So as you can see, we have a lot to be grateful for in RUSD, and including something I haven't brought up in a long time is our board that just from closed session to our two-by meetings to public meetings and any interactions we have. Just the appreciation you have for staff, caring about our students, and just, in my opinion, leading with heart and soul in decisions and the way that you see the all the business of the school district is just such a great support for an example for our RUSD community. We just want to hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving break in a week. You have day off tomorrow, so it's kind of like a Friday. I really appreciate the RHS staff and students that came, especially when it's coming up on a 3-day weekend. So we're just very grateful for everyone. We hope everyone has a well-deserved day off tomorrow and then a week off coming up around Thanksgiving. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Nice report. Okay, board members, reports. Dan?
Yeah, thank you. I want to recognize the accomplishments of the girls' tennis team this year. It's really quite extraordinary what they've done. They're in the playoffs, and a very talented year, and they are to be commended and congratulated. And then the football team. The football team, what people don't realize is that they were moved up a division this year, which means the teams they're playing have schools that have larger populations and a larger population to draw a football team from. And we went in and we had extraordinary athletes, our quarterback, our running back, a wide receiver, that were really going to play at the next level. And through a series of unfortunate injuries, by the time we got to the playoffs against Cathedral, we'd lost our starting running back, our starting wide receiver, and they were both good for a couple touchdowns a game. And then during that game, we lost our 2 starting linebackers. But it's a very tenacious group of young men. They fought hard. They played well. They did the best they could with what they had left over. Coach Baldwin is an extraordinary coach. I've said before that our football team is in good hands, and it is. So congratulations to the season they had, and I'm looking forward to next year. Thank you for that time.
Very nice, Dan. Thank you. How many of those home games did you make it to?
I made it to 4 home games and a couple on the road.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Which is just nothing but fun for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Excellent. All right, Maya.
There was something I forgot to mention during my last month's report, and that is when I was doing school site visits and when I attended the homecoming dance, I got to talk to the site administrators and to the CSOs, safety officers, and what they shared with me that they were so happy to see the new cell phone policy that we're enforcing at our schools now. They see that it not only contributes greatly to academics by keeping the kids focused on school and not being a distraction, but also it makes kids actually talk to each other, which I think is a great contributor to improving mental health, communication, so they don't feel lonely. And that was something unexpected for me, because I was always thinking, oh, that contributes to academics. I didn't think about the mental health aspect of that. So we're killing multiple birds with one stone in this case. And now I'm curious to see what the test scores are going to be going forward this year, next year, what the tendency is going to be. Is the trend going to go upward, that our test scores, are they going to be improving, and see what the impact of this policy is going to be on overall position of our district in multiple aspects.
Very nice, thank you. Darren.
Mrs. Rodriguez, thank you for bringing the presentation that you brought tonight. Very impactful. I see we still have one of the students, just one, right? Here tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your night to come and present to us. I meant everything I said during your presentation, and I don't want to dilute anything else other than great job. Thank you very much. Great choice. Great choice. They represent the school very, very well.
Yes. Roger, do you have anything?
I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and then also a presentation from our high school. Just really grateful for their presentation and supporting the youth throughout the school, and also the work that we're doing in our district for supporting those for greater mental health. I think that's really important. I wanted to let you know that I was up in Sacramento at the Capitol, and I met with several different lawmakers. I'm actually part of a group which is a youth student advocacy organization that's across the state, and we, as a group, to several assembly members and senators, advocated for a STEAM robotics day, which is going to be March 23rd. We have somebody that's going to be authoring that, assembly member, and then also a bill for $500,000 to send directly to schools, and specifically for teachers be able to have registration money to have a robotics team. I know that we use the PLTW Vex Robotics platform, and then this small grant would be able to pay for the registration fees for the students to be able to compete instead of it coming out of their classroom budgets. So we have a lawmaker that's going to be presenting that as a bill, and we're pretty hopeful that it will go through because it's a pretty small amount of money. So anyways, that's what I've been working with. It'd be awesome to have some representatives from Ramona schools to be on this committee. It's the Student Advocacy Organization for California.
All right, thank you, Roger. If you could get that information out to Brian, and he'll make sure it gets to the right people. Thank you for sharing that.
I'll give it to Brian. And just one more thing, I look forward to spending time with the board and upgrading our skills at the upcoming conference for CSBA.
Thank you. And that's the only thing I have in my board report also, is that the annual education conference is coming up. The class schedule is available online already, and there's an app you can load in your phone. The first few years they did that was pretty clunky, but the last year it seemed to work much better, so it might be worth doing that. And then if anybody has trouble accessing online, then Karina could probably make a printed schedule. So I look forward to seeing most of you there. Dan, if there's a specific topic you want any of us to be researching, you can look at that information online, and maybe we can grab some material for you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. This concludes our open session meeting. We will resume our closed session, but do not expect to have anything to report out. Thank you very much for being here.